Hello, Namaste, welcome to my channel Chemistry Wala Alam. This is Hussein Alam. Right. In the last video, I had explained about the regarding the atomic models, mainly Thomson's atomic model and Rutherford's atomic model. In this video, I am going to explain about the Bohr's atomic model. First of all, what is the need of proposing this Bohr's atomic model and which information it can be used? What are the drawbacks? We can be all discussed here. So first of all, to explain the atomic structure, the first basic model was given by the Thomson. So here Thomson said that here atoms are compared with watermelon in that mass, positive charged sphere and mass is distributed throughout the atom, and electrons are embedded like the black color seeds are present in the watermelon. So to overcome the drawbacks, one of his student, he is the Rutherford. So he had explained about the Rutherford's atomic model. In the Rutherford atomic model, Rutherford said that mass is not distributed throughout the atom, and also positively charged sphere also present at the center of the atom called nucleus. The positively denser particle is present at the center of the atom called nucleus, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a particular circular path is called orbit. And however, it is also having some drawbacks. In the shell, a particular shell, how many electrons can be present, and discrete atomic spectrum we are getting experimentally, that was not explained. And here when electron is revolving in orbit around the nucleus, eventually it should lose energy according to classical laws of the physics or dynamics. So when a particle is continuously revolving, charged particle is continuously revolving, it loses energy continuously, finally fall into the nucleus. But it's not happening. Why it is electron is revolving in a particular path also not explained. That means stability of the atom is not explained. So next, one of his student, that is Rutherford's student, is Niels Bohr. Okay, now he had proposed that atomic model, that is called Bohr's atomic model. In this video, so Rutherford explained about the drawback of the Rutherford, and somewhat extra information also given, like radius of the orbit. Next one is energy of the orbit. Next, how to calculate that velocity of an electron, and then wave number, wavelength, frequency. These all how do we can be calculated. So here Niels Bohr had given that a mathematical calculation. So based on that formulas, we can be calculate that these points. Which information it is giving. First of all, the basis for the proposing this atomic model is Max Planck. That means, so based on the Max Planck theory, Niels Bohr had proposed this model, that is called Bohr's atomic model. So here Planck's theory is saying that here energy is directly proportional to frequency. The energy of the radiation is directly proportional to frequency of the radiation. He is given that by removing this proportionality, he given that one constant, that is called h nu. H is the Planck's constant. Its value is 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 27 ergs into seconds, or 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules into second. Nu is the frequency of radiation, and E is the energy of radiation. So that means if energy increases, frequency also increases. If frequency decreases, energy also decreases. Energy increases, frequency increases. If energy decreases, frequency also decreases. So this is the base Planck's theory, and based on this Planck's theory, Niels Bohr, he is the Danish scientist. Okay, now in the year of 1913, he has proposed the model, that is called Bohr's atomic model. So the postulates of the Bohr's atomic model, you can see that postulates. So first postulate said that, so here atom, and exactly center of the atom is nucleus is present. This was given by the Rutherford. So based on the Rutherford's model and Planck's theory, he has given the Bohr's model. So here at the center of the atom, a partially denser nucleus is present, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a circular path. So these are represented as, that is called as orbits or shells, or these are also called as energy levels. Orbits or shells are energy levels. So first postulate is he is saying that about the orbits. So here electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a circular definite path. These paths are called orbits or shell. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus. How? And that is a definite path. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a circular definite path. Those paths are called orbits or shells or energy levels, and these are represented by the representation by the letters K, L, M, N and so on. These are numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. That means first one is the K shell, second one is the L, M and so on, numbered as 1, 2, 3. So here the number is indicating that principal quantum number, n value, small n value. So here he said that here n value increases, energy as well as size both will be increases. Very important. Bohr's atomic model is given that the energy, radius, velocity, frequency and then wave number, again spectral lines, all the information can give. So here as the n value increases, energy and size both will be increases. That is the first point about the orbits. Orbits or shells or energy levels is same. That is can be defined as the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a circular definite path or called orbit or called orbits. These are represented as KLMN and numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4. And second one is stationary. Stationary energy levels. What is meant by stationary energy levels? So here Rutherford said that electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Okay, then according to classical laws of the physics, when an electron is revolving continuously, it will lose the energy continuously and finally fall into the nucleus. If it happens, the atom can be collapsed, that cannot be exist. But practically atoms are existing. By that atoms are combining together, elements or molecules or compounds. So we are saying that compounds are existing. So why it is not happening? That means here Bohr has explained why the electrons are not losing energy. That means here Niels Bohr said that when electron is revolving in a particular orbit or shell, it neither loses energy nor gains energy. That means energy is constant. So as long as electron revolving in a shell, it neither loses energy nor gains energy. Neither loses nor gains energy. That means energy is constant. When electron is revolving in a particular orbit or shell, it neither loses energy nor gains energy. That means the energy of the orbit is constant. That's what here, as long as electron is revolving in a shell, it neither loses energy nor gains energy. Like how the planets are revolving in a particular orbit around the sun, here also electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Okay na? So this is the second point. So stationary energy levels, as long as electron is revolving in a particular orbit or shell, it neither loses energy nor gains the energy. Next one is third point here explained. So that is angular momentum of an electron. So third point is angular momentum. So here why it is called considered as the angular momentum? That means electron is revolving in a shell. That means at each and every point the momentum will be present. That is called angularly it is revolving. That is called angular momentum. That angular momentum is equals to mvr is equals to integral multiple of nh by 2 pi. nh by 2 pi is the very important. Angular momentum of an electron in any orbit, in nth orbit, that is equals to integral multiple of nh by 2 pi. Integral multiple of nh by 2 pi. Here, what is the m? M is the mass of electron. M is mass of electron. V is velocity of electron. Next, R is the radius of orbit. Radius of orbit or shell. Next one, N is the principal quantum number. Principal quantum number. Next one, H is the Planck's constant. Planck's constant. And we know that the pi value that equals to 22/7, that is equals to 3.14. So angular momentum of an electron, third point. So electron is revolving in any orbit, that is equals to integral multiple of nh by 2 pi. So that is the third point. So first point is about the orbit, second point is stationary orbits, third point is about the angular momentum. Next one, fourth point, he had explained about the energy changes. Okay, so energy changes, about the energy. What is the energy? So when an electron is present in the first orbit, it wants to goes to higher energy level, that means second energy. So it must be absorb energy. It must absorb energy. So a change in energy is equals to E2 minus E1. That means higher energy level minus lower energy level. We can change in energy, that equals to E2 minus E1. Here delta E is equals to h nu. According to Planck's equation, E is equals to h nu. E is equals to h nu. Change in energy, that equals to h nu 2 minus h nu 1, or h is equals to nu 2 minus nu 1. Okay na? So this is the change in the energy, that is delta nu, delta E, that is equals to E2 minus E1. Okay na? So this is the fourth point, change in the energy. Next we can be moved to calculation part. So first thing is calculation of the radius of the orbit. Calculation of the radius of the orbit. Here Niels Bohr had somewhat given the more information and compared with the previous two models. Sir, the Thomson model, Rutherford's model, Dalton's atomic theory, so those are having drawbacks, no? Then why should we have to learn? Of course, here they are given some basic information and main, which is very important. So based on even though those are having some drawbacks, we should know that if Dalton did not given that information about the nature of the matter, then what is our position? Even if you observe that Dalton's atomic theory given in the 1808, next to Thomson, Dalton's atomic theory. So Thomson's model is given 1897. See that how much duration, that means approximately 90 years it would taken to explain the structure of the atom. Again, so remaining Rutherford's model 1911, next one Bohr's model 1913, even quantum mechanical model. So those are taken somewhat the more time to explain that the atoms, the structure. Even the quantum mechanical model is giving somewhat the more information than Bohr's model. So which is the credit is not goes to anyone. It is the, so based on the merits and demerits, different scientists, great scientists did that or contributed a lot of information in the chemistry. Okay na? So that's what you have to know about the, even though these are having the that means the drawbacks or failures, you should have to know. Okay, right. Next one is here calculation part. So first one is calculation of radius of orbit. Calculation of radius of nth orbit. Here you may get the one doubt here. Why he had taken the only hydrogen atom? Here mainly the Bohr's atomic theory or atomic model is depends on single electron species. It should be is a major drawback of the Bohr series. It can be applicable to only single electron species such as the hydrogen, He plus, Li plus 2, Be plus 3, like this species. Okay, now that's what he had considered that hydrogen atom and successfully explained that the structure of the spectra of the hydrogen atom. Okay, now that's what here we will be take that calculation of the radius of nth orbit in the hydrogen atom. Okay, now sir, hydrogen is having only one orbit, no? So nth orbit why you have taken, that means in the, even though it is having the only one shell, okay na, electron is nucleus is at center of the atom, electron is present at the first shell. So whenever we can be gives that external energy, so the electron will be jumps to higher energy level, second shell. Even though in the second, this is the first excited state, and the second excited state, the second shell to third shell, and third excited state, third shell to fourth shell, it can be jumps, because energy nucleus it can be goes somewhat the higher energy level. Okay now, that's what here nth orbit we have to consider. So how he had calculated that radius of the nth orbit of the hydrogen atom? First of all, when electron is revolving in an atom, okay, so can be see here, so nucleus, electron is revolving, so here revolving nucleus around the nucleus. So here between the, that means here that is the nucleus is having the positively charged particles, so and electron, so atomic charge you can be take that Ze, and electronic charge you can be taken as G. Okay now, so here mass of the electron, mass equals to m, velocity will be considered V or C. Next one is charge of the electron is E minus or E, charge is considered as the E. Radius of the electron with distance from the nucleus, that is taken as the R. That means mass m of the electron is revolving with around the nucleus with the distance R, is carrying the charge E with the velocity C. Then here consider that two types of the forces. So one is towards the nucleus and another one is outside to the nucleus. One is towards the nucleus, second one is the outside to the nucleus. That means here the attraction is present between the nucleus and electron, that is called Coulombic force. So that Coulombic force, that is equals to, we can be taken it as minus kz e square by r square. Coulombic force is equals to minus kz e square by r square. Next one is with the, what is the y has taken here? Coulombic force is nothing but the attraction between the two oppositely charged ions, that can be given as a k q1 q2 by r square. So here q1 is the, k is the constant, permittivity constant, and q1 is the nuclear charge, atomic number is Z, and E is indicating the charge in the nucleus, and another one is the electron charge by r square. So that you can be write as the kz e square by r square minus kz e square by r square. That is the Coulombic force, that means attraction between the nucleus and the electron. And second one is the centrifugal force. This is the Coulombic force. Then what is the centrifugal force? The centrifugal force equals to minus mv square by r. So here the two forces, Coulombic forces should be equals to or equilibrium with the Coulombic force, because the electron is constant. That means the electron is revolving in a particular shell, it neither loses energy nor gains energy. That means how much of amount of attraction is present between the nucleus and the electron, same amount of the attraction will be present between the electron and outside, that is called centrifugal force. So here Coulombic force equals to centrifugal force. That's what here we can be take these two forces. What are the two forces? The centrifugal force, we can write here centrifugal force, Coulombic force, that equals to minus kz e square by r square, and centrifugal force, that equals to minus mv square by r. So these two forces are equal and opposite direction. The centrifugal force, that equals to Coulombic force, Coulombic, right? Coulombic force equals to centrifugal force, because these two forces are equivalent in the opposite direction. That's what centrifugal force can be. Coulombic force can be take that minus kz e square by r square, that equals to centrifugal force minus mv square by r. So here minus minus get cancelled, r square r get cancelled. So what can be right? Kz e square by r is equals to mv square, kd square by r, that equals to mv square. So here v square we can write it as kz e square by mr, kz e square by mr. Okay, so this is from the two forces. And the next one here will be considered that which one, from the angular momentum. Angular momentum from both. The fourth point, angular momentum mvr is equals to nh by 2 pi. Sir, again why you have taken the angular momentum? Because here v is the velocity, here also velocity will be get. So these two velocities should be equalized. So v is equals to, we can write as nh by 2 pi. Send this mr to this side, mr. Okay now, then here v square, make it equalize. Suppose this is equation 1. So v square is equals to, we can write as n square h square by 2 square. 2 square means 4 pi square m square r square. Suppose this is the equation 2. Equation 2. Now these two equations, v square equals to v square. So now we can be equalize these two, that is kz e square by mr, that equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m square r square. Okay, so here cancellation, m square r square. Then what we can be get? So this kz is cut to this side, so this r we can be get, r is equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m kz e square, kz e square. So this is the radius of nth orbit. We can radius of the nth orbit. Here k is the permittivity constant. Okay now, k is the permittivity space, its value is 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton meter square c square Coulomb square. In the CGS unit, its value is, k value is taken as the 1, and hydrogen, that means z is the atomic number. So n square and z square only, n square and z only changes, because when we can be take that hydrogen is 1, we can be substitute for first orbit n square is 1 square, second orbit means 2 square, remaining h is the Planck's constant, 4 pi value constant, mass of the electron, the mass of the electron, that is m is equals to 9.1 in 10 to the power of minus 28 grams. Okay, next is the h is the Planck's constant, 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 27 ergs into second. Next one, z is the charge is equals to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. So by substituting these all values, the radius of nth orbit, we can get that 0.529 angstrom units n square by z. N square by z will be get. So this is the equation for calculating the radius of the orbit. So that is the 0.529 n square by z angstrom unit. Okay, this is for hydrogen, we can be represented here, z is equal to 1, we can be right, and for first orbit means we can be right 1 square, second orbit means 2 square. Okay now, so third orbit like that we can be substitute. For helium also sometimes they can ask that. Okay now, so see once again here, when electron is revolving in a particular orbit around the nucleus, the Coulombic force equals to minus kd square by r square, and centrifugal force outside the force, that is equals to minus mv square by r. So these two forces are equivalent in the opposite direction, that's why here two forces will be balanced. So kd square by r, mv square, minus minus get cancel, r square r can cancel, so v square will be get, that is equals to this mr, kd square by mr. So here from the board's angular momentum mvr equation h by 2 pi. Okay now, here v we can be get that nh by 2 pi mr, and v square is equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m square r square. So these equation 1 and equation 2 will be equalize. So here we can get that kz e square by mr, that equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m square r square. So m square r square get cancelled. So then r equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m, and r we can be use here, this kz d square will be sent to here. Thus by substituting this, except n square and z, remaining all values are constant except n square and z, n square by z. So those can only changes based on the atom and shell number, those will be changes, remaining all will be constant. So this is the calculation of the radius of the orbit. This is a very important, this n square. So you should have to remember that formula, we can be right here. So radius of the nth orbit equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m. K is the perimeter constant, so z e square will be considered. Even k also can be considered. Sometimes no need to take. So this is the calculation of the radius of the orbit. Next one, based on this radius value, we can be calculate the velocity of the electron. So calculation of the velocity of the an electron. Velocity of an electron. So you can be see here, the electron is revolving around the nucleus with a certain velocity. That velocity we are going to calculate. So here angular momentum mvr is equals to nh by 2 pi. mvr, electron means electron can be revolving in a particular shell, so it can be shifted, means first shell to second shell to third shell, like that. So here mvr equals to nh by 2 pi, then v is equals to nh by 2 pi mr. 2 pi mr, that is the value of the velocity. But here small change, we have to substitute this r value. What is r value? Here we got. So v is equals to nh by 2 pi m. R value can be substituted here. So here r value is this one. So that is the which one? n square h square by, okay, I will write it another color. So the r value is n square h square by, and in the denominator that can be write here upside 4 pi square m z e square. K no need to write, okay na. So K is the permittivity constant, is the value is in the CGS unit 1. So that's what here can be write. So here cancellations, n square, h square, m pi square pi, okay na, 2 ones are 2. So that you can be write as, so final equation what you can be write, 2 pi z e square by, here which one, nh. This is the velocity of an electron in any orbit. V is the velocity of the electron. 2 and pi value is 22 by 7, that means 3.14 constant. Z is the atomic number. E is the charge of the electron. Here n is the principal quantum number and h is the Planck's constant. So as substituting these values all except here z by n. So v is equals to 2 pi e square by h z by n. So by these all values, substituting these all values, then we can get the value that is equals to, velocity is equals to 2.188 into 10 to the power of 6 meters per second into z by n, or that equals to 2.188 into 10 to the power of 8 centimeters per second into z by n. Okay na, that means this, substituting these total values you will be get this. So this is the velocity of the electron in any orbit. So z is the atomic number, n is the shell number, z is the atomic number, and n is the principal quantum number. That is equals to shell number. So suppose they can be change that velocity of the second orbit of the helium. Second orbit means here we will be take that 2, here the helium is 2, that means 2 by 2 same the velocity will be get that, okay na. So this is the velocity of the electron. Next one is energy. calculation of energy of shell or orbit, energy of the orbit, calculation of energy. So how we can be calculate that energy? So here total energy of an atom is equal to sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy, sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy. So here total energy of an atom is equal to sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy. So here kinetic energy is equal to half mv square, then potential energy is equal to minus kz e square by r square, k d square by r square. So what can we consider here? So here total energy is equal to potential energy, that means kinetic energy half mv square plus of minus kz e square by r square. So then we can be write as the half mv square minus kz e square by r square. Here the kinetic energy in the calculation. So here Coulombic force in an atom, Coulombic force is equal to centrifugal force, that is equal to Coulombic force minus kz e square by r square, that is equal to minus mv square by r. So from this we got the values, which one? R square, r get cancelled, minus minus get cancelled. So that is equal to, we got the value kz e square by r, that is equal to mv square. Okay na? Here this mv square can be make it into half, that is equal to half mv square. Half mv square is equal to kz e square by r into, shall we write a half, that means 1 by 2, that means kz e square by 2r. So instead of this half mv square we will be write this formula, that means that equals to kz e square by 2r minus kz e square by r, not r square here, r. Okay, right. So kz here, r get cancelled, that means take the LCM, not cancelled. LCM can be take 2r, LCM is we can be get that 2r. So the total energy is equal to LCM we can be get 2r, and then here kz e square minus here 2 into kz e square. So kz e square minus, that means 1 minus 2, that is equal to minus kz e square by 2r. That means total energy is equal to this one. Total energy is equal to minus kz e square by 2r. Then we can be substitute this r value, radius. So then we can be get that total energy is equal to minus kz e square by 2. R value we can be substitute here. R value which one? N square h square by, we can be write 4 pi square m kz e square, kz e square. Then what we can be get here? Cancellations, any cancellations? Right, so only 2 ones are 2 twos are, right. So by cancellation this, the total energy we can be write it as minus 2 pi square m k into k square, z into z square, e power 4 by n square h square, by n square h square. Here also z square and n square only can changes based on the atom and shell number, remaining all are constant. So by substituting these all, the total energy we can be write it as minus 13.6 okay into z square by n square electron volt. Here the significance of the value that means sign minus. Okay, now why it is minus means, so the electron at infinity distance from the nucleus, this is the nucleus electron from the at infinity distance, the value is taken as the 0. Energy of electron at infinity distance, infinity distance is taken as a 0. So when the nucleus, that means the electron is coming nearer to the nucleus, the value becomes negative. That's where the sign significance minus will be mentioned here, minus 13.6 into z square by m square. Z is the atomic number, n is the shell number, electron volt. So based on the units, the value will be changes. Okay now. So this is the calculation of energy of the orbit. So the total energy of the orbit or atom is equal to sum of the potential and kinetic energies. Potential energy is equal to minus kd square by r square, or and kinetic energy is half mv square. Then total energy is equal to half mv square plus minus kd square by r, minus into plus into minus minus. So half mv square minus kd square by r. So here half mv square you can be written as kd square by 2r. So from radius, so then total energy is equal to k, and total energy is equal to kd square minus 2 kd square by 2r. Then we can get that minus kd square by 2r. Total energy equals to minus kd square by 4 pi square m kz square by 2. R value will be substituted, that means n square h square by total value. So by that simplification, minus 2 pi square m k square z square e power 4 by m square h square, except here minus 13.6 into z square by n square, remaining all the value will constant. That's what we are getting, 13.6 in electron volts. Electron volts. So this is the energy of orbit, energy of the nth orbit, total energy, or instead of this we can be write as energy of nth orbit. Energy of nth orbit, that is equals to minus 13.6 into z square by n square electron volt. Okay. Till now, radius of the orbit we have calculated, velocity of the electron calculated, energy of the orbit is calculated. Next one is wave number. That you can be calculated from the Rydberg's equation. Rydberg's equation. So I have to remember the formula of this one. Which one? This one. Energy of the nth orbit, that is equals to minus 2 pi square m k square z square e power 4 by n square h square. Okay na. K value no need to consider here, k is the permittivity space, so that's what, of course we cannot. Okay na. Right. So now wave number or wavelength, how can we calculate? So that wave number or wavelength or frequency can be calculated by the equation called Rydberg's equation. Rydberg's, whenever electron jumps from the lower orbit to higher energy orbit, so here which is nearer to the nucleus, that is the lower energy, distance increases, the which one, energy also increases, that is the higher energy. So electron can be jumps from the lower energy to higher energy orbit, energy can be absorbed, and sometimes we can be jump from the higher energy to lower energy, energy can be emit or releases. So that change in energy, that equals to E2 minus E1. Change in the energy, that equals to E2 minus E1. So the change in energy, so that E is equals to Max Planck, given that E directly proportional to nu, E is equals to h nu. Okay now, or E is equals to, here nu can be written as C by lambda, because C is equals to nu lambda, then nu is equals to can write as C by lambda. Okay now, so E is equals to hc by lambda, you can be right. So instead of delta, change in the energy, delta in E is equals to can write as h nu or h c by lambda, that is equals to E2. E2 is the, here we can be take this, so minus 2 pi square m k square z square e power 4 by n2 square h square minus, okay, next one is E1 value will be right, this is totally E2 value, and E1 value can be right, so that is minus 2 pi square m z square e power 4. So here minus can be becomes plus, so here we can be right as, that is equals to 2 pi square m z square e power 4 by n1 square h square minus, this one can write 2 pi square, so 2 pi square m z square e power 4 by n2 square h square. So if you observe that n1 square and n2 square only can be changes, remaining all can be constant. So that's what here we can take the common. H nu is equal to, you can write hc by lambda, or hc by lambda, that is equals to 2 pi square m z. Z square can be taken common, z square e power 4 by h square can be taken common. Then what you can be write here, 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Okay, right. Here this total value 2 pi square m e power 4 by h square value. Okay na. And here also you can write as h, that means nu bar is equal to, you can write as hc nu bar. Okay na. Here nu bar can be write as, here hc can be write here hc. So h square c becomes h cubed c, okay na, into z square, okay, into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So here the thing is will happen here, that is this total value will be get that nu bar is equals to 109677 centimeter inverse z square 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Okay na. So instead of this you can be write as the number, that means letter or h, that is the Rydberg constant. So z also can be taken as for the hydrogen 1, or h 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2. So this equation is called Rydberg's equation, that is the nu bar equals to or h Rydberg constant into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So here the nu bar is the wave number, or is the Rydberg constant, n1 square is the lower energy orbit, n2 square is the higher energy orbit. Based on this, by substituting the values, we can be calculate that for wave number. So in the today's section, okay, we have explained about that. We have discussed the first thing is how to calculate that radius, energy, velocity, free, that means wave number. Okay na. Next coming to drawbacks. Drawbacks of the Bohr's atomic model. First drawback is it can be applicable to only single electron species like hydrogen He plus, Li plus 2, beryllium plus 3. Plus indicates that loss of electron. Main drawback. So here Niels Bohr successfully calculated the radius, energy, velocity of the species containing the only one electron. So this is a major drawback. And the second one is he did not explain that Stark effect and Zeeman effect. What are these Stark and Zeeman effects? So here when the atomic spectra we are getting the lines, these lines are called line spectra. So these lines when observed with a high resolution microscope or spectroscope, these each line is associating with a group of fine lines. So that is called fine spectra. So here Zeeman effect and Stark effect can be defined. Stark effect is nothing but splitting of spectral lines into group of lines in the presence of electric field. Splitting of a spectral lines into group of lines in the presence of electric field, that is called Stark effect. And same the one, but in the magnetic field, splitting of spectral lines into group of lines in the presence of magnetic field, that is called here Zeeman effect. That means why these lines are splitting into group of lines in the presence of electric field and magnetic field, not explained. And third one is here he did not explain the formation of a chemical bonds. What is the need of formation of chemical bonds also not explained. What is the necessity of forming a bond? Okay na. Next one is here he did not explain that, that means not considered that dual nature of atom, not considered the wave nature of electron. Here de Broglie in the year of 1924 he said that microscopic particles, even every particle is can be possess the dual nature, but wave nature he did not considered. Okay, next point is here Niels Bohr calculated the energy, radius, velocity, these all the things, but here Heisenberg said it is impossible to determine the position and movement of an electron or microscopic particles is impossible at simultaneously and accurately. Means at a time we cannot be calculate that position and movement of the electron simultaneously and accurately, but here Bohr has calculated. That means here Bohr's theory is contradicts with Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So here Heisenberg uncertainty principle is it is impossible to determine the position and velocity simultaneously and accurately, but Bohr said that we can be calculate that velocity, radius, momentum, so all the things. So that's what it contradicts. Okay na. And also not considered with which one, de Broglie's wave nature also. Okay, so these are the main drawbacks of the Bohr's atomic model. Okay, so thank you, hope this can be useful for someone. Thank you.